Hey, Pat Rigsby here, and in today's episode, I want to talk with you about how to evolve to stay ahead of the market. Let's get to it.
Welcome to the Fitness Business School podcast, the show for fitness business owners who want to grow their income, increase their impact, and improve their lifestyle. Be sure to listen till the end of this episode because we have a brand new special offer exclusive for listeners. So stay tuned.
So recently, Holly and I were in Orlando. We were at the Halloween Horror Nights at Universal. She's a big Halloween fan. That's a whole different story. But we also happened over to Epic Universal's new park, and I was just blown away by a couple of the new lands they have that are just incredibly immersive. And I thought back to the first time we went to Disney as a family back probably 2008, 2009, and everything was wonderful. Obviously, if you've paid any attention to anything that I've put out over the years, big Disney fan, families, big Disney fan as a group. But just how things have evolved, the level of immersion, the level of detail as the parks have continued to kind of have this war versus one another on how to stay ahead and how to win the attention of the audience that they both compete to serve. And I think it probably started with this Harry Potter land a while back, to be fair, I don't even know all of the internal names for this stuff. But then we saw Disney do things with Pandora and Toy Story Land, and Universal has like 3 different lands at this epic universe that I feel like are really detailed and really highly themed. And I thought about how when we first went, the buildings had some level of detail and you felt like you were in a different place, maybe a different time. But now so many of the places and parks feel like you're the star in a movie, and you are just transported to an entirely different kind of place or universe or whatever you'd like to call it. And then I started to think more about how other businesses have evolved. And it wasn't all that long ago, maybe 2 decades ago, that we essentially had these 2 distinct divisions in the restaurant world. We had traditional fast food, McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, those types of places. And then we had sit-down restaurants, not getting into the upscale restaurants, but just the sit-down, the Applebee's, the TGI Fridays, those types of places. And then there was this, again, evolution where fast casual became a thing, where people wanted something that was maybe a little bit better quality than traditional fast food, but moved faster, was more convenient than the sit-down table service restaurants. And we've seen that with places like Blaze Pizza and Qdoba down the line. And now we have that in so many different kind of food verticals, if you will. But even the fast food lane with places like Chick-fil-A really evolving how the drive-through operates to improve speed and efficiency. So I think that takes us back to, how are we evolving? How is your business, how are we as an industry evolving? And is it in a direction that is really appealing to the client? That last part, I'm not sure. I mean, it's certainly different than it was 10 or 20 years ago. I mean, 20 years ago, if there was a personal training studio, it was almost exclusively one-on-one. It was largely, the industry was largely operating out of big box health clubs as independent contractors or as in-house trainers. And then maybe 5 years after that, we started to see more of the large group training stuff, whether it was the boot camp model or CrossFit or something like that. And it's continued to evolve, but I don't know if the evolution is one that's going to be great for the longevity of those businesses in many cases. I mean, we have a lot of people who splintered off and said, okay, we're going to be specialists in cycling or Pilates or yoga or whatever else. And they do it in high-end, like Class A real estate. And we see so many of those franchisees in those lanes struggle. If you pay any attention to the holding companies for those kind of franchise organizations like Exponential and whatnot, there are definitely some ups and downs. A holding company that owns F45, definitely some ups and downs, because at least in my opinion, the evolution has not been one that spoke to being client friendly, customer friendly. It's not been something that has provided long-term value for them. Now, if you look at these evolutions in other industries like the theme parks, if it makes for a better experience, it makes for something that people are more excited about and want to go back to, and you see the return visit rates for both Disney and Universal being so high, it seems to be working. I think that with places like Blaze Pizza or Chick-fil-A, with their popularity, to an extent, that stuff seems to be working pretty well too. Now, it can be watered down and people can try it and miss the mark on a lot of things and knock off the people who are doing it well. But in fitness, the attrition rates at a lot of these places that are supposedly evolved are pretty high. The fail rates of those types of businesses are higher than you would think they should be with the level of franchise or support that a lot of them are getting. So where are they missing? Maybe they think the evolution is in the just simply the high-end equipment, the aesthetics. It's kind of like what we saw with the online training world. Sometimes we think maybe evolution is so much more technology, so much more flash, when the evolution often should be built around what do we know that people care about, right? They care about convenience. They care about value. They care about outcomes, results, experience. They care about being made to feel important. They care about being connected to one another. And very few of the ways that businesses in our industry have evolved really hone in on those things. They've tried to evolve in so many other ways that I think are appealing, sexy at first glance, but they're not great for the client long term. And so eventually that kind of, that novelty wears off. So if you're thinking about how to adapt and how to evolve to be successful in the upcoming year, in the next 2 to 5 years, I would encourage you to go and study other businesses. I think most of my best learning has come from studying people and businesses outside of our industry. Because if you study everything inside our industry, you're kind of just doing what's happening now, right? You're not looking at how you can be better, how you can be different, how you can evolve. And then when you're considering your evolution, think about it through the lens of the person you're going to serve. How are you making their life better? How are you solving their problems, helping them achieve their goals, and speaking to the things that are going to be relevant to them for the long term, the things that I just talked about? Because if you want to evolve, that's the way. And if you think about the businesses that have evolved and been successful over the last decade or so, that's really kind of where they've made their mark. They've spoken to these things that have been true of people for way longer than a decade. I mean, so many of the things that I just touched on, people desiring to feel important, them wanting to have convenience and value and all those things, you could have said the same thing about people 100 years ago. And you'll probably be able to say the same thing about them 100 years from now. So if we can kind of steer our innovation and evolution towards that, we're going to be so much better off. So I know that's a little bit of a winding story to get there, but I'm just always fascinated by how businesses evolve to gain or at least maintain market share, to better serve their clients or customers or patients. And to stay relevant in an ever-changing market. And if we're not being observant of that sort of thing, if we're not paying attention, then you look up and a year, 18 months, 2 years have passed, and you've gotten left behind by the people who have been doing that. So if you want to be better, you have to evolve.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Fitness Business School. Before you go, I have a quick announcement. One of the things that we've been doing with our current clients is taking them through this ideal business diagnostic. And really what it is this checklist that allows you to pinpoint exactly what your business needs next so you can keep improving, keep growing, and build a business that you love to own. One that pays you well, one that allows you to have the impact you want to have, and one that allows you to have a lifestyle that you truly enjoy. In this diagnostic, we walk through everything and we do an evaluation and can instantly pinpoint what you need to do next to build that business that you want. I'm going to extend this opportunity to get on with either me or my team and take you through this evaluation and fix your business's most vital needs fast. So if we take you through this, you're going to be able to make those vital changes that you need to finally have what I call your ideal business. If you'd be interested in going through this entirely free, risk-free diagnostic with us and learn what you already have in place, what you're doing well, and where your greatest opportunities for rapid improvement are, just shoot me an email with diagnostic in the subject line to pat@patrigsby.com. Again, an email to pat@patrigsby.com with diagnostic in the subject line will get you scheduled and take you through this evaluation to help you build the business you want.